So when we talk about gaining weight, honestly, most people, it's easy to gain weight. And usually, you have the people who walk by a restaurant and seem to gain weight, and the others who may struggle. And I've worked with both ends of the spectrum. The challenge is gaining the right type of weight. Certainly anybody could eat pounds and pounds and pounds of food a day and gain lots of fat. Usually not what people are looking for. So it takes a combination of the right nutrients and also the proper training. And it is more than just eat more. Now, there are certainly, and I've worked with some folks in the NBA and worked in the collegiate level in basketball, tall, very, very lean individuals who it's a struggle to gain weight. But for most people, it's not so much of a challenge. Again, though, it's the right quality that's the key when they're looking at what kind of weight they're gaining. Now, some tips to gaining more muscle, and this is usually how I start with people. It's not rocket science, but general recommendation is to simply increase calories by about 500 a day. It's not a lot, so 500 a day could be a handful of nuts and a glass of milk. Again, looking at increasing calories gradually, that's important. Increasing calories with nutrient-dense foods, that's important. Eating the proper proportion of macronutrients, so fat, carbohydrate, and protein, and then also setting realistic goals. Just like weight loss shouldn't happen overnight, weight gain doesn't happen overnight either if you want it to be quality gain or quality loss. So some ideas to add calories. Adding low-fat milk or even full-fat milk is to a meal. 3 meals a day, you're adding 100, 150 calories per meal right there if you do a cup of milk per meal. Snack regularly. Again, nuts work great, cheese works great. Certainly some fruit is a good complement to that. Greek yogurt is another great addition. In your manual, you'll see a nice list of quality snacks that you could add or suggest for athletes you're working with. Peanut butter, nut butters in general. If you have an athlete with a nut allergy, sunflower butter works really, really well, or almond or whatever nut butter they like is a great way to add calories. Take a tablespoon of that, 150, 200 calories right there. Do that a couple of times a day and you're at your 500 calories very easily. So it doesn't take a lot of food necessarily to add quality calories. Hummus, avocado, foods like that can add quality fats and protein depending on the choice with those to your meals. Shakes and smoothies with fruit and protein, nuts in there as well. So again, think about some high quality options when we're talking about putting on calories, but adding nutrient density as well. Now, on the flip side, let's talk about leaning out. Similar to weight gain, I'd recommend cutting calories by about 500 a day. So now we need to look at where can we take those calories away. And this is where it comes into play where athletes maybe do a 3-day food record. You can maybe get some ideas of what they're taking in. Very often for a lot of people, calories are coming from liquids. The average American drinks about 450 calories a day. Simply cutting that out will help with weight loss. But then look at where else they're picking and choosing and so on. The goal is to maintain as much lean muscle mass as possible. Of course, so not cutting lean protein, but instead focus on those empty calories. The liquid calories, like I mentioned, the high sugar, the desserts, high sugar carbohydrates, things along those lines, but maintaining that lean protein to make sure that muscle mass is maintained as weight loss, as fat loss is occurring. So some tips for safe and effective fat loss. You want decreased calories intake realistically. Not necessarily skipping meals, just maybe decreasing the size of those meals. Read food labels. Eat the proper proportion of macronutrients. Looking at nutrient-dense foods to make sure that you're avoiding nutrient deficiencies as you're cutting calories. Set realistic goals again and focus on fiber. Fiber helps fill you up. Protein helps fill you up. Fat helps fill you up. So looking at balancing meals around those nutrients can help fill up without filling out. Some important points. Quality weight gain or weight loss doesn't happen overnight. That is really, really important to stress. People want things to happen yesterday, right? But when it happens slowly over time is when it becomes quality. And when it becomes quality is when it becomes long-term. It's easy to lose weight fast. It's easy to gain weight fast, but slowly and steady is more sustainable.